On this episode of AV Week, more standards and alliances show up for AV over IP, micro LED and OLED developments, and the importance of digital signage during COVID-19. All that and more next on AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AV Week, episode 480, recorded Friday, October 30th, 2020. No more standard.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Extron, industry-leading technology backed by world-class support.
And by
Peerless AV, driving technology through innovation.
This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audio-visual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us to discuss the news and information we have gathered this week. First and foremost, Kate Calderon from Bogan. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Just on the other side of the state for me and my new favorite blues fan, Erica Williams. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello.
My least favorite Boston Bruins fan, or just Boston fan in general, Craig McCormick. How are you, sir?
With a rousing endorsement like that, how can I not be good?
Are you a Tampa fan, by the way, yet? Are you a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. If you don't know, Tom Brady, the only reason that the Patriots have any sort of, legacy is now playing for Tampa. So, and last but not least, a fellow Bears fan, but also unfortunately a Cubs fan, Mr. Brad Grimes. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Tim. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Now that we've gotten all the sports stuff out of the way, I'm just excited that freaking football's going, and the Bears have only lost 2 games. How many of the Patriots lost?
I can't count that high.
Yeah, that's typically for Chicago. So, all right, first story actually comes to us from Mr. Craig McCormick and commercial integrator. How digital signage has grown in importance because of COVID-19. We're talking about this for a couple of different reasons, honestly. Number one, not for nothing, but AVIXA has partnered with the DSF, the Digital Signage Federation. You listened a couple of weeks ago, and actually to this month's Digital Signage Digest, the DSC, the Digital Signage Expo, has folded. The AVNation, the company that ran that, has filed for bankruptcy. You can check all that out in various shows. You can check that out on Craig's site as well. So digital signage is, I'm not going to say they don't have a home right now, but there's several folks that are out there trying to create content. AVIXA is doing an event, a virtual event in December. We're partnering with Future on an event we're doing in March. Craig and his team are doing their virtual event in November. December. Yep. So the Total Tech Summit, which would have been in person, is virtual now. So lots of folks are trying to serve this community, which has been robust, right? Has been out there. But Craig, when we start looking at digital signage and how it's able to help not only integrators, but also the retail establishments and the folks that are trying to get people back into the spaces, what are you finding as far as ways that the signage community and the not only the hardware, but also the creatives can help during this crisis?
I think one of the biggest changes that we've seen is in a lot of ways digital signage for a long time was pretty passive. I mean, you saw it and you noticed it, and obviously it caught your attention, but it wasn't necessarily always there to give you information. It was more there to attract your attention and maybe catch your eye on a sale or something like that. And now it's changed quite a bit, as most things have these days in the last 8 months or so. I think it's more about providing information and giving people, updates on what is actually going on within a building, or at a school, or in an office building, or something like that. It's telling people, it's safe to come in here, or you need to do this to make sure that you're safe, that sort of thing. So I think that's kind of been the biggest change and the biggest way that it's different now.
Kate, one of the areas that Craig points out is ways to entice people to come back in, right? Whether that's a rewards program, it's a frequent buyer program, or a frequent attendee program. When it comes to connecting with clients and with customers, What are some of the ways that you're seeing that digital signage is able to do that to kind of entice people back in?
To entice people back in, I'm seeing it more as a communication side of everything. That's how I personally have been seeing it, mostly with public communication. Like we were just in Chicago last weekend, and it's been 5 years since I've been in Chicago, and I was driving around the downtown area at night and commented, dang, look at all this digital signage that's here now. I don't remember it ever being quite at this capacity than it was just a few years ago, even used, in the bus stops even, and just multiple signs everywhere. And I saw, obviously, thanks to COVID, they're using it, for communication and reminders as social distancing. And then also a lot of stores as reminders, because a lot of things have been locked down and boarded up. But retailers are also trying to get customers in by telling them exactly which direction to go into the store. Because again, a lot of things are boarded up and not open like they used to be. And they were having different ways to enter into stores. So personally, I've been seeing it more as used as directional for digital signage too.
All right. Brad, from your perspective and your vantage point, what are you saying that the biggest use case, I guess, for signage out there, whether it's indoor signage or outdoor signage during COVID?
I mean, well, use cases will change. I mean, obviously, the message you communicate is relevant to the time you're in and the circumstances you're in. What I'm seeing, or what I think is important, is more the technology and the design now, right? Because when you create digital signage in an indoor space, it needs to be able to communicate its message safely. And that's not just, I mean, you need to have a sign that's viewable from multiple angles, because you need people, you don't want everybody gathering right in front of your screen to see your message, because that defeats the social distancing purposes. So you need to start looking in terms of the size of your messaging, the size of your digital signage, the technology that you, I mean, there's a lot of direct view LED now coming that's usable indoors, that's bright under a lot of circumstances, that can be viewed from distance. The last thing you want is digital signage where everyone has to get up, right near it in order to get the message. So, messages, communications, whatever you're trying to get across will change over time. Communicating is a core use case that will last well beyond COVID. But in the short term, you really do need to think about the design of a digital signage platform to ensure that it does its job safely.
Eric, I want to take a little bit different approach to this. We are watching a number of applications and solutions during COVID-19. I'm not going to say put on rose-colored glasses here. Yes, it's a pandemic, and yes, it's serious. However, this is not going to last forever. At least I don't believe it is. So let's at least be somewhat optimistic here. What are ways that we can help our clients and help the customers leverage what they may be putting in place today for COVID-19, and for a very good reason, but also to make sure that that's available and that can be reused, I guess, or repurposed once this pandemic is over, for whether that's other digital signage or other communications tools, to make sure that when we design these systems, it's not just for COVID, but it can be used and leveraged for further down the road.
I think one of the big things that you're going to see is an approach from convenience. During this COVID time, things are changing quickly, rules are changing quickly, and it's only going to be a matter of time before, they change it. Oh, you're not supposed to be 6 feet apart. You can be, X amount of feet apart. And teams are going to start to realize that the printing off the paper, the laminating it, the posting it, and all that stuff is going to be more repetitious, and it's going to get old really quick. And going with the digital signage type system, you just got to update a single letter on a graphic and throw it back up there. So the convenience is going to be really good, and they're going to see that, oh, wow, well, this is really easy to use. And, we're going to start having people come back in, and, we can throw up together a graphic really quick and then it's up there, or we'd have a new announcement to make, and they're going to see that convenience and the ease of use. And that's going to make them want to commit to it. And it's on us to show them that, yeah, this system really is this easy. And, as we, I don't want to say simplify things more, but as we go more over the network, it's, running a patch cable to get that going, and it's overall convenience and ease of use. I guess you can come back to.
Thanks so much for watching this first segment of AV Week. To check out the rest of the episode for free, click on the link below or go by the website, avnation.tv. It's avnation.tv.